Hello, Year 1, and welcome to our new literacy topic for spring term. So we're starting off by making a book called Ourselves and Other Animals, and after that we're going to move on to making a fact file all about lemurs. And this all ties in with our general spring topic this year, all about animals. I hope you enjoy it. Let's get started. Okay, so what do we want you to learn in this topic? What do Miss Revel and I hope that you achieve and take away from it? Well, first of all, we want you to understand what non-fiction means. Now, we have spoken about non-fiction before, so you might be feeling really clever and already able to tell your grown-up what non-fiction means. If you're in Penguin's class, you might remember me talking about non-fiction as not fiction. But for that, we need to know what fiction is first. Okay, so we're going to be talking about that. So non-fiction, what does that mean? In this topic, we also want you to understand what a label is. What do you think of when I say the word label? Do you think of a label in your jumper? What would a label look like in a book, I wonder? We'd also like you to know and understand what a caption is. Now, this might be a brand new word for you, so have a practice saying it. Caption. Have a look at how it's spelt. We'd love you to understand what a caption is by the end of this topic. And we're also going to learn lots of new animal facts, which is exciting. I actually learnt 2 new facts, one about a turtle and one about a dolphin for this sequence of work. It's really fun to learn new facts and to remember them and to be able to impress other people with your facts. Okay, let's move on to the next. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to make a book. We made our Sleeping Briar Rose books, didn't we? We started and didn't quite finish our Natiki books, but we wrote about 4 pages of our Natiki story, which was brilliant. And we also wrote the magic paintbrush and made that a book. So well done you. You might have at home as well kept all of those pages together and turned it into a little book. Maybe you made a front cover for them. That would be brilliant. So we are going to be making a book, and it's going to be our first fact book, and the title will be Ourselves and Other Animals. Okay, and on every single page of that lovely paper, if you can see the picture there of the paper with the paw prints, every single page will have a drawing that you're going to do of the animal for that day. You will label your drawing, and then underneath you will write a caption, so a sentence or 2 or maybe 3 if you want to really impress us about your animal. Okay, and I will make sure that I upload this lovely paw print border to our Google Classroom so that you can download it and print it. And please don't worry if you don't have that paper, that's absolutely fine. Okay. So for our first lesson on Tuesday the 5th of January, we're going to be introducing you to the new topic. So there isn't any writing today, but there is a little bit of research. And if you research, that means that you find out, okay, you investigate. So there's going to be a little bit of research for later. So what is our learning objective today? What do we want you to do or achieve? The first one is I can tell you what non-fiction means. Okay, so you can tell Miss Revel or I, or a grown-up, what does non-fiction mean. And you can find some non-fiction books. Okay, let's have a little look at the next. So I've written here, in fact, I've put 4 stories that I love. I'm currently listening to the Harry Potter books again on Audible, which is where you can actually listen to the stories aloud, which is lovely. So I've got Harry Potter there, I've got Matilda by Roald Dahl, which is one of my favourite names, which is why Alice is Alice Matilda. We've got Julia Donaldson there, and Amazing Grace by Mary Hoffman, which Penguin's class looked at when we were doing Celebrating Me, and we were talking about friendships as well. So those are all storybooks. Those 4 books there that I've chosen to put the front covers of are stories. They are fiction. or fictional? And I've written here that so far in Year 1 we've written as a year group Sleeping Briar Rose, which were our fairy tales, Natiki, which was our African folk tale. We also did the magic paintbrush when we were off just before Christmas at home. And these are all stories or fiction, which means that they're made up. A very clever person has written them. So an author has used their imagination and they've written a made-up story. Okay, and you can often tell that a book is fiction or a story as well because they have these lovely illustrations or pictures. They also have chapters if they're books for older children, and I know that we have in Penguin's class, and I know Miss Revel has in Puffins, a chapter book section in our book corner. And more, especially as you go throughout the school, Year 2 have a great selection of chapter books. Okay, which just means that the pages have more text on and that the stories are longer. So this is fiction and stories, and I've popped a question at the bottom there that you might want to talk to your grown-up about, which is your favourite fictional story from home? So some of my favourites are by Enid Blyton, like The Enchanted Wood. I do love my Harry Potter books. I love plays by William Shakespeare, which are fictional. He's got a wonderful imagination. Okay, so we have been looking at fiction, but we, for this topic, are going to be moving on to non-fiction. So let's talk a little bit about that. So what is non-fiction or not fiction? So if it's not fiction, it's not made up, it's not imaginary, it's not a story from somebody's brain. What is it then? Well, non-fiction is a fact book, and at this point Miss Revel and I would be coming up with an action for non-fiction or fact. Maybe you can be using binoculars because you're looking for things, or pretending to have a magnifying glass. That would be a good one. Maybe you at home and in class can come up with an action for fact. So if you have a look here, there are 4 covers of 4 different fact books or non-fiction books. Okay, and we have a really large selection of these in our book corners at school. And I know that my Alice loves to choose fact books from her reading book box as well at school. Okay, so we've got lots and lots to explore. But what does a fact book look like, and how do we know if it's a fact book? So a fact book means that it contains true information. It informs us. It has to be real, about the real world. Okay, so here, sharks, you will find out in that book, oh, a bit scary, about sharks, or dinosaurs, or the planets, which we're going to do in summer term and you will love, or about the world and landmarks in the world. So over the next few slides, I will talk about non-fiction. Okay, let's have a look. So first of all, features is just a fancy way of saying almost like non-fiction things. What kind of things or items would you expect to find in a non-fiction book? So I would expect to find, when looking in a non-fiction or fact book, a contents page. Okay, and if you read it there, a contents page tells you what's going to be happening in the book. So if you have a look at this lovely one here, which is all about chimpanzees, I'm going to have a look down that contents page there, and I think I would like to read about eating. So I would go to page 18. Maybe you want to read about, oh no, chimpanzees in danger sounds a bit sad, page 24. So non-fiction books don't always, but mainly have a contents page. Okay. Non-fiction books have photographs in. So we spoke about how stories and fiction have pictures and illustrations. There can be those too in fact books, but a lot of fact books have photographs. And this one is especially important, this slide, because if you have a look here, we will be coming back to this later. This also has a label. So this is a photograph of a toucan. Okay, and here is a label pointing, and it says bill, and it's pointing at the toucan's bill. Okay, and that is very important. Non-fiction books also have glossaries and have an index. Now, they don't always have both. Okay, so when you're having a little research and a hunt around today, have a look to see. So a glossary is near the back of the book, and it gives you definitions. So if you had a book about fruit and you wanted to find out what an apple was, you might look at the back and look up the word apple, and it would tell you all about an apple. Okay. And an index is slightly different because it, rather than tells you what it is, this is where you would look to find, where is it in the book? Oh, I really want to find out about eggs. Let me have a look. And I'm doing that A, B, C, because an index goes in alphabetical order. So if I need eggs, I need to go all the way down to E or E, and there I can see what pages it's on in the book. So non-fiction books have a glossary and an index. Okay, so keep an eye out for those later. Now, our task for today, and goodness me, you've learnt lots of new words. Haven't you got a lot of new vocabulary today? Glossary, index, contents, label, photograph, non-fiction, features. You are such grown-up year ones, and I bet you're keeping up beautifully with this. So I've written at the bottom, can you find some non-fiction books in school or at home? Now, don't go to your bookcase and pick up the Gruffalo, because I would say, oh, goodness me, I don't think the Gruffalo's real. I think that's clever Julia Donaldson. That's her story. So we are looking for fact books. And when you find a fact book, can you have a little rifle through and see if it contains a glossary or an index or a contents page? Does it have photographs with labels on? Have a little investigate. I've put at the bottom here, if you're at home and you don't have many fact books, then there is a really fantastic website which I've put there, which is www.oxfordowl.co.uk, and it has an entire library full of e-books, which means electronic book, which is a book online. So have a little look there. Okay, so that is the end of the lesson for today. This has been your input so that you have hopefully learned lots, I hope. And now you can go away with your teacher or with your grown-up at home and have a little hunt to see what non-fiction or fact books you can find. Many thanks. Have a lovely time. Bye. Hello Year 1, this is the second lesson today of our making our new non-fiction books about ourselves and other animals. Now this is quite a long starter this morning, quite a long carpet session, so if you feel you need to pause it after a few slides and do some brain gym or a Joe Wicks or do some movement, maybe some yoga, then please do. If you can feel your attention starting to wander or wane, then please pause and do some lovely, maybe some OT exercises like we do at school, doing some jumping jacks, some jogging on the spot, whatever you need to refocus again. Okay, so our lesson is split into two parts today. We've got a starter where we're going to learn about 2 new terms, and then we've got the main bulk of our lesson, which is all about humans. So for our starter this morning, our learning objectives are: I can tell you how to label a picture, or I can tell you what a label is, okay? And I can tell you what a caption is. So we've got label and we've got caption. So by the end of this starter, it would be brilliant if you can tell your grown-up what a label is and what a caption is. So let's start with labels. Now I've put a picture of a ruler on here just down the bottom, if you can see that, and I've put don't forget to use a ruler for your labels. Now we have done labelling before in year 1, but mainly when we've been doing choosing. Okay, we did labelling for some of our Africa topic work too, but we haven't done very much of it, so this is a nice a really nice time just to brush up and recap, and for anybody that's not sure. Okay, so it says here, that this diagram has labels for the parts of the rattlesnake's mouth. Goodness me. So you can see here it says the venom is stored here. Wow. And here is the fang. Goodness me. Now this person doing this labelling has been a little bit naughty, and they've been using capital letters all the way through their labels. So my wish for them would be not to use those capital monsters. Naughty, naughty person. But anyway, so that is a diagram, okay, or a picture, and they have labelled it to help us. So when we're looking at this beautiful butterfly over here, how would we label this photograph? So I've put the labels in place already using a ruler. I was a very well-behaved teacher. I used my ruler. Have a chat with your grown-up about what you think these different parts, this little curly bit here, this tall long bit, and these beautiful delicate parts here are. Okay, I'm not going to give you the answers on here, but hopefully your teacher or your grown-up can have a chat with you about that. How would you label this photograph of a butterfly? So when we're labelling, we are describing or explaining what the parts are. Okay, so that is a label. Just like the label in your clothes explains how we have to wash it. Okay, the label in your clothes is also really handy when you put your name on it as well, isn't it? And then we don't, in the summer when we're all taking our jumpers off, we know whose is whose. We have labels on our pegs, don't we? So labels are really important in life so that we know what things are and who, you know, whose things belong to who. Okay, so have a little try with your adult at labelling that butterfly. Okay. Now, captions. I'm sure that you may have heard the word label before, but I'm not sure that you will have heard the word caption before. Have a look at how it's spelt. Sounds like there should be a sh diagraph in there, doesn't it? But it's caption, caption. So a caption describes or explains the illustration. Oh, and look, they've got the same spelling there. Illustration, caption. Oh, I wonder if that helps you remember the spelling. So here we have a photograph of a lovely chimpanzee. Okay, and the caption, the sentence there says adult male chimps weigh 100 pounds on average. Goodness me. So that caption, that sentence is explaining or telling us something about that photo. That photo is of an adult chimpanzee, and so the caption is talking about an adult chimpanzee and talking about how much he weighs. And it says here, which is useful to know, that a caption can be inside a photo like that one, it can be above, it can be below, it can be next to. Now, in our work, in the book that we're making, we're going to have our drawing at the top and our caption below. Okay, so let's have a practice. You know how much I love pandas. I love, love, love them. And here is a panda. Oh, look at him. There's a panda. Or her. Very cute. And I've written, what caption could we write to describe this picture? So I would say something like, here is a cute panda resting in a tree. Full stop. But you might want to say something slightly different. Okay, you might want to write a fact about pandas. You might think that that panda's actually fast asleep, or maybe playing hide and seek with its friends. Have a chat with your grown-up. What could you say? You could even tell me where pandas, what country pandas are usually found in. You know, we look at the Edinburgh Zoo live webcam quite a bit, don't we? And we watch the panda at Edinburgh Zoo. So the caption, what I'm asking you to think about is what sentence or two could you write under that picture, that photograph? Okay, and there might be a few different answers there. Well done. Okay, now to my favourite bit, because you know how much I love teaching writing, how much I love writing, and how much I enjoy marking your work. I can't wait to see your beautiful handwriting, those finger spaces, Mistakes are great, so don't worry if you have to cross something out, okay? And just try your absolute best with your sounding out and your writing. So, this is the main bit of our lesson today, and we're writing the first page of our book. And the first page of our book is about us. It's about humans and human beings. So, what do we want you to do in this lesson? I would like you to I would like you to be able to tell people facts about human beings, whether it's Miss Revel, myself, or you're grown up at home. What facts can you remember? I would like you to draw and label a human. And I would like you to write 2 or 3 facts or captions. So a caption underneath that picture about humans. So it's going to go labelled picture, caption. So 2 or 3 sentences about the human. Okay. So I've got 2 videos here that I would love for you to watch. They're fun videos. One is about how our bodies work and the different systems in place that make our bodies brilliant. And then there is a video on different parts of the body that will help you for when you're labelling. So go ahead and watch those now, please. Okay. So, how are humans the same as other animals? Because you might have thought it was a strange title for our book. Ourselves and other animals? Well, we're not animals. We're not in a zoo or in a farm. Well, actually, we do have a lot in common with other animals, And we've spoken briefly about evolution, which was very grown up, and about how we descended from and evolved from apes a long time ago. And human beings are mammals. So these are some new facts for you today. You might already know them, in which case, wow, maybe you're the future Sir David Attenborough. So human beings are mammals. Well, what does mammal mean? It's quite fun to say mammal. Should we all say that? We'll have to think of an action for mammal. Well, lots of animals, like cats and dogs, are mammals too, just like us. What does it mean to be a mammal, and how are we the same as other animals? Well, it means that we give birth to our young, and you can see a photo there of a lady with her bump, with her pregnant. She's pregnant and she's got her baby inside her tummy. So if you are a mammal, it means you give birth to young. It also means that you can feed milk to your young, like this lovely mummy doggy is doing here really well with her puppies. If you are a mammal, you have a backbone or a spine. We're called vertebrates. So an invertebrate can be like a mini beast. We'll talk about that another time. So we are vertebrates. We are warm-blooded. And that means that our internal body, which is our inside temperature, our internal body temperature stays the same, whether it is hot or cold outside. So reptiles are cold-blooded. You might already know that. But we are mammals, we are warm-blooded. And I've written at the bottom here that as we go along, I really want you to think about which of the animals that we learn about, which ones are mammals, which are reptiles, and which are birds, and be starting just to kind of group those and classify those in your mind. Okay, so we are mammals. So, remembering back to that lovely paw print page I showed you before, we are now going to start to write the first page of our book. You are going to write human beings as the title that goes above the picture. So on your sheet it looks slightly differently to mine because it goes long ways. It goes portrait, so you're going to have human beings as your title along the top. You're then going to draw the outline, draw a body of a human, and then you're going to write a caption underneath. So 2 or 3 sentences with facts about humans. And those videos hopefully have really helped you, as well as me talking about us being mammals, will have helped you to think about facts to write. So here you can see I've done some labels. I've used a ruler. Okay. And then you write your captions underneath. Now I've got a wish over here, And I'm going to sing our 2 stars and a wish song a bit later on in these slides. But my wish for you for today is please don't forget to use capital letters and full stops. Now, when we've been doing story writing, like with the magic paintbrush, we call that in schools extended writing, and that means that you're writing reams and reams of sentences. But with this book, we're only writing 2 or 3 sentences a day, and so because of that, you can really focus on those key skills like sounding out, your letters sitting beautifully on the line. Okay, your capital letters at the beginning of a sentence, your full stop at the end. And don't forget, if it's a really exciting sentence, like a really cool fact, you could do an exclamation mark with our kung fu exclamation mark action. So 2 or 3 sentences about humans. Now this is quite an easy one to start off with because hopefully you know a bit about humans because you are one, you lucky old bean. So I've given you an example sentence here. I've written, what facts can you remember about humans? Okay, and then I've put here, so for example, you could write humans are mammals, which means that we give birth to our young. And you'll notice I've used a capital letter and I've used a full stop. And actually take a quick photograph of the word mammals because it's mammals. Mammals. Can you see it's got those 2 m's in the middle there? It's a tricky word. It's trying to trip you up, so don't let it. Okay, so you are going to write the title, human beings, along the top. You'll notice I've put a line there for you to write it. You're going to draw your human really neatly. You're going to write labels using a ruler, and then you're going to write a caption, so 2 or 3 sentences with facts about humans. Good luck! Hello, 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 and welcome back to Ourselves and Other Animals with Mrs. Berry. Sorry, I'm very enthusiastic today because it's polar bears. Show me your polar bear claws. Show me your polar bear ears. Cute. Maxim especially knows how much I love polar bears. And yes, I do own a cuddly toy polar bear that my lovely pupil Mila gave me last year. And it sits here in my bedroom and I love it. And I just think polar bears are great. So I can't wait for you to write about polar bears today. So yesterday we did humans. Today we're doing polar bears. You might already be thinking, do we have anything in common with polar bears? So what are our learning objectives for our second page? What do we want you to do? Well, I want you to be able to tell me facts about polar bears. I want you to draw and label a polar bear. And I would love you to write a caption. So 2 or 3 facts, 2 or 3 sentences about polar bears. And you will notice now that it follows a really similar pattern to yesterday's lesson. So now that you've done one, you know that we need a title. You know that we need a picture labelled, and you know that we need those 2 or 3 sentences, the caption at the bottom with the facts on. So you'll whiz through this. Let's find out about polar bears. There's a video here for you to watch, and please do, because it's great. It's got lots of fun facts on, but also there are just, and I know because I watch them, lots of videos online that your grown-up can supervise you with, looking for of just polar bear cubs. There's one where he's surprised when a seal pops up and he falls backwards and it's cute. There are polar bear videos playing in the snow. Oh, they're just lovely to watch. So please do have a little watch of some polar bear videos if you get a chance. So I've given you 3 of the facts from this video here. I've arranged mine in bullet points just to separate them out, but you don't have to do that with your captions. That's absolutely fine. So I've written polar bears are marine mammals, like whales, just because they spend so much time in the water. Polar bears have 4 inches of fat and 2 layers of fur, and that just keeps them warm in the cold Arctic Circle where they live. And I learnt this, I didn't know this fact, that polar bears have black skin underneath their fur. And I've put an exclamation mark there because I just think that's a wonderful fact. Found that quite surprising, I think, because you see the white fur, you assume that they're white bears. Also, if you were thinking about how we're similar to polar bears, again, they're mammals and we're mammals. So we have those things in common. If you can remember what we learned about mammals, that's awesome. So, sorry, I get very excited when it comes to polar bears. I just can't help myself. So let's look to the next slide to see what you've got to do now that you've got all these facts in your brain ready to go. Okay, there's a polar bear, there he is. They look quite easy to draw, I think. We've got some coming up. They're a little bit tricky with lots of detail. Now, I know you can't particularly see the tail on the one that I've chosen here, but I chose it because I just thought it was very simple and quite easy to copy if you'd like to. But they do have cute little tails. We've just got to pretend that this one's is tucked under. They're very small. And I have labelled my polar bear. If you were listening really carefully to the video, you'll remember that they said they have very short, thick claws, don't they? So I've written claw there. Claw and paw. Now, by the end of this book, you will definitely all know how to write eye and ear. Ear is that trigraph that we've learnt in phonics, but I think eye is quite a hard spelling. But once you've got it, so I'm sure you did it yesterday for human, you will have cracked it now, because you're going to have, in fact, if you haven't, have a little practice, because you're going to need the word eye for the next few animals. So have a practice of writing that one. So polar bears will be your title at the top. And notice that I've capitalised both words just because it's the title. You're going to draw your polar bear, and you're going to make sure you leave lots of nice space for labels around the edge. Please don't forget to use a ruler. And my wish again for you today is don't forget your capital letters and full stops. Looking forward to seeing these polar bears. Good morning. Friday dance, let's all do the Friday dance. Do 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 do, dum 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 dum. Okay, it's Friday and it's the 3rd page of our book today, so page number 3, and it's all about lions. I hope you liked my roar there. I bet you can do a louder one. So we've done humans, we've done polar bears, and now we're doing lions. So the exact same learning objectives again. Can you tell me facts about lions? Can you draw and label a lion? And can you remember and write those facts about lions? Look at that lovely photograph there with the male lion with his mane and the lioness next to him. Just like Aslan from Narnia, if you've read those stories, which are some of my favourites. Right, let's hop to the next slide. Okay, another lovely video there for you to watch, please, just so you learn lots of those lion facts. You might want to take notes as you're going along, which is a very, very, very grown-up skill. You might want to take notes and write bullet points and pause the video as you go along, but that really is year 2, so I'll be super, super impressed if anyone can do that. I've written 3 facts here, or 3 sentences that I would write as a caption underneath my picture. I am a bit jealous of the lifestyle of male lions. Now, not only girlies, ladies, not only do they rest for 20 hours a day, and that is the female lion as well, it's the ladies, the female lions, which are called a lioness, that do all of the hunting. And then the male gets to eat first. And actually, I know, like it said, that he has to defend them. But as their only natural predator is humans, which is very sad, and I know they probably have to defend the pride from other male lions, but I still think the male lions get a bit of an easy gig here, a bit of an easy job. But anyway, well done to all the lionesses out there. I also love this fact that I knew but hadn't really thought about before, that lions are the only big cat to live in a group, which is called a pride of lions. And you know, Miss Revel and I love Disney. We love The Lion King. If you haven't seen it on Disney Plus, it's wonderful. But yeah, so that hopefully you've learnt lots and lots of lion facts now, ready to write your caption. So let's have a look at my next slide. So you can see here I've labelled the lion, I've used a ruler. Don't forget, if you're drawing a male lion, to do the mane. Okay, there's the eyes again, so we know how to spell that now. We've got paws and claws, which has got that same spelling in, or. We've got the A digraph today in tail. And again, please try really hard with those capital letters and full stops. And don't forget, if you're going to colour your pictures, so if you're going to use colouring pencils, you can use felt tips at home. Oh, I'm such a meanie, but you know I'm not a big fan. But there's a place for them. But it's not this book. No, I'm joking. I would prefer pencil. But make sure it's kept really neat, please, because we've spoken about how sometimes in year one we do these beautiful pictures and then the colouring can be a bit scribbly. So if we're thinking about Presentation Superstar and we're thinking about Mr. Burns seeing our work and giving us that certificate, just try really hard with your colouring, please. And think about, look at photographs, look at books, think about what colour they are. No purple lions, please, as much as I adore the colour purple. So I'm going to go on to the next slide today, just because it's Friday. We haven't asked for any literacy work in yet this week, but today, as it's Friday, is slightly different. So let's hop across to the next slide. You've made it through the end of week 1 for your January home learning. Well done you. And I am especially proud of year 1 because we did have that 2 weeks, didn't we, in December as well. So you've had a long time at home now, if you are at home, and I'm just really, really impressed with your resilience, which means not giving up. I'm sure your grown-ups are really proud of you, and it won't be too long before things are back to being a bit more normal in school. But for now, I'm just so excited every day to get just to speak to you and do the register, and I can't wait now to get these emails in with your work. So I've said please send your 3 ourselves and other animals pages. So I would like your human being page, I would like your, I've forgotten what it is, polar bear page, and I would like your lion page. So those 3 pages with your drawing, your labels and your writing on. If you could please photograph those and send them to the year 1 email address to be marked. So year 1 home learning at pelham.merton.sch.uk. Okay, and Miss Revel and I will try and get through all of those over the next few days for you, just because I know that you love to have that feedback, and that feedback is really important. Obviously having the children, the key worker children in as well, means that we have that additional workload, but we know how key it is to reply to you. So we will make our way through those emails as quickly and efficiently as we can. And we always look forward to marking your work, especially this time. I just think this is really fun. I want to see if you can teach me any new facts about polar bears that I don't already know, or about lions, or even about humans. I can't wait to read them. So thank you so much for all of your hard work this week. And we've got more fun animal writing, more fun work on our non-fiction book next week. So I'll speak to you all then. Thanks, year 1. Bye.